When I started boxing, I just felt something there that let me know that this is where I belong.
If Anthony Suggs looks familiar to you, you have seen him here on ESPN. He won the gold medal in the 1987 Olympic Festival.
And I wasted the best years of my life out there on the street, my prime years. I remember my mom used to say to me, that I was weak. I remember my father holding up his hand, saying jab, jab, 1, 2.
Well, I believe Tony was going to be a boxer because that's the way his father drew him up.
I knew that's what I wanted to do. I just love being around my grandmother's house while all my father boys that he hung out with would gather around and tell all these war stories about my father.
And faith and purity.
How my father kicked Sam dude's ass at one time, and that little time my father was like real bad. He was like the man, and I wanted to be the man, you know, and I wanted people to talk about me and brag about me like they did my father.
It could be a blessing because once you're involved in drugs and you go to the Olympics and maybe you make it to the professional ranks and, you know, your income grows significantly, you know, and then you have more access to, you know, different types of drugs. So, you know, it may be a blessing that he did. You know, I think that everything happened for a reason.
One mind.
And I wrote in my Bible in 1986,
On purpose.
Gold Medalist in 1988.
One vision.
I just really wanted to make it for my kids so they didn't have to go through any of the things that I went through.
Round 1, it is scheduled for 4.
Introducing the Terminator, Anthony Suggs.
I always tell people I had no other choice but to be a champion because the way my mom and dad fought, both of them fought like champs. So, you know.
Okay, gentlemen, I expect a clean break at all times. Watch your low blows and watch the holding and hitting. Any questions?
I've seen the burn marks on his father when his mother threw hot grits on him. I seen his father with a broke leg when his mother hit him with a baseball bat, you know, while he was asleep.
I knew they were gonna kill one another because the physical violence in my household was so bad, you know, it was at the point somebody was gonna get hurt. They was already hurting each other bad, you know. My mom broke my father's leg before my father broke my mom's leg before. My mom stabbed my father and almost killed him. Yeah, and I remember my sister used to be in there crying, trying to break it up, you know, and me and my little brother just sit in the room on the bed waiting for it to be over.
It's always something to see who developed from that and who peaked early.
My mom used to ask me when I go to the Olympics, am I going to buy her a house and all that, and I felt like my mom didn't deserve that. And then all them, you know, nights I went to bed hungry, you know, no utilities, you know, it's been so cold that me and my brother gotta cuddle up in a bed together to try and get body heat from one another, you know, and, you know, it was just real sad, you know, so if anything, I felt like I owed my father something, and then people will say, how can you love your father so much? And as bad as he was, I don't know, I just did. I'm a daddy's boy, I always was a daddy's boy, and I don't know, but what my mom did, I just couldn't understand it. And one time I asked her, why did she leave us? You know, she said, because your father wouldn't leave me alone as long as I had y'all. And I believe that with all my heart, because I know how my father felt about his boy. I believe that, but I know one thing for sure, my father wouldn't have kept her from seeing us, getting us, spending time with her anytime she wanted us.
certainly has a good concept of what he needs to do to be effective.
You know, I was always a good athlete, you know, good in football, basketball, baseball, you know, and I used to think I was going to be a professional football player. I realized that when I was playing football for the TC Williams JV team, I was a running back, and we was playing this team from Robinson down in Fairfax, a big country team, and they intimidated my whole team. You know, my team was scared of them. You know, they wasn't blocking, you know, and by me being a running back, I need somebody to block for me. You know, at least to get me through the hole so I can do my thing, but you know, they was crushing us in the backfield and stuff. So I got my ankle fractured. Matter of fact, like 5 of our backs between the quarterbacks and running back got put out the game that game, and they fractured my ankle. And I made a decision right then and there. I never want to play another team sport because I'm out there giving 110 and they playing scared. And while my ankle was healing up, that's when the guy came down my street and asked me, did I know anybody want to box? I think I started jogging and stuff before my ankle even got well.
Anthony Suggs landing some good counter shots now.
I walked, talked, ate, drunk, slept, boxing. You know, that's all I knew. Because I was always a real shy kid. And I used to ask dudes what they talk to the girls about. And it was like, you know, I'm just kicking the breeze, just whatever. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And then he said, well, just talk about what you know. But, you know, talk about yourself. So I'm talking to a girl now. All I'm talking to her about is boxing, everything boxing.
So round 1 is history. And unlike the last bout, we're going to get to round 2.
I started boxing in 82, 83. And by 86, I already knew I was going to the Olympics.
We're into round 2.
My coach set me up to have a competition fight within 3 weeks training. I only trained for 3 weeks, and I knocked my opponent out in the first round with a body shot. And I remember how when I knocked him out with a body shot, how he screamed, and I like that feeling. I started talking to older guys that's been in the game, and you know, asking questions on how to get better, talking to my father about how to get better, and you know, just picking up what I can learn from everybody. I didn't shy away from experience. Going to the Olympics is like being the first round draft choice into the NBA or the NFL or something, you know. So I knew by me going to the Olympics will open bigger doors for me. Being in the ring for me was therapy because, and it may sound strange, and I didn't know it or recognize it at the time when I was fighting, but I was a real angry kid, you know, angry about a lot of things that went on in my childhood, in my family, and when I got into the ring, I released that anger. When the bell went ding, I just went blank. I was 20-0 as an amateur with 20 knockouts before I lost my first amateur fight.
Got the heart of a champion, mind of a one, thoughts of a one, I'm built like a one, got skills like a one, I feel like a one, and I give it all I got until I won.
150 fights, 138 wins, 12 losses. When I lost, it made me more determined too. I hated the feeling of losing so much. It just made me more determined not to lose again. I went from winning losing in the quarterfinals in the ABF tournament, went to losing in the championship in the National Golden Glove, from winning the gold medal in the Olympic Festival. You know, so each national tournament, I was getting, you know, each national tournament, I was just getting better. And I had 18 fights between these two tournaments and 16 knockouts. You know, only fight I lost, only time I did knock my opponent out was the ones I lost. My mission was to search and destroy him, you know, and I really wanted to hurt whoever was in the ring with me. And then after I knock him out, then I would feel sorry for him. You know, that was the weird part for me, because I really wanted to hurt him while the fight was going on. I just won the gold medal in the Olympic Festival. That ranked me the #1 boxer in the country, #4 in the world, and the man to beat for the 1988 Olympics. I just got on the team. I wasn't one of these guys that gradually, you know, was on the national team from a junior. Then, you know, what I did was extraordinary. You know, I just got on the national team. I knew Sugar Ray had interest in me when I won the gold medal in the Olympic Festival in Raleigh, North Carolina in 1987, you know, but then he had interest in myself, Riddick Bowe, and Roy Jones. It seems as though my career was going to another level. But then when they told me that the lawyer that signed him when he came out of the Olympics told him that he shouldn't mess with me because I was a bad investment.
Somebody's win streak is going to come to an end.
I started smoking weed shortly before I started boxing. Well, first my father, I remember getting big pounds and pounds of weed, and you know, and he ran the streets so much he ain't had time to stay home and bag it up. So he used to have me bag it up.
He landed his power shots. Suggs came on from a distance at the end.
He called me. I got up there that night and he called me in the wee hours of the morning, you know, telling me my daughter just died. And I'm like, you know, why he calling me playing like this? You know, I just left her that night, and you know, she was just a precious, sweet baby, you know. And I mean, my little brother always used to say, Tony, man, this girl crazy. Watch this. He'll touch it and she just break out smiling and laughing, you know. And I mean, she was always just smiling and laughing, real sweet, real precious. That was the beginning of my drug addiction. That started in 1987. This was one of the main drug strips when crack was introduced to Alexandria. Like I was saying, I caught my first drug charge back there. They called this the hole because it's one way in, one way out. And it used to have a real bad flooding problem back in the day. You know, the houses down here used to flood. I used my daughter's death as an excuse to be the drug addict that I really wanted to be. Back there in that park was where I caught my very first drug charge. You know, me and a teammate of mine came down here to cop some drugs after a fight. We used to call ourselves celebrating, you know, by using drugs. How insane is that? You know, you're a boxer and got great potentials, great opportunity to do something with yourself, to do something with your life, to get up out the hood, and you come down here to buy drugs after you win a fight, call ourselves celebrating by getting high. You know, I'm damaging your career.
Well, they've each got a stylistic problem in this fight, and Brown has overcome his against the taller opponent he's getting inside. Suggs' problem is punching over the top of a smaller opponent, and he hasn't really solved it.
You know, I was 14 years old, 14, 15 years old, bagging up drugs for my father. You know, but my father, like I said, my father always told me to be a better man than him. And ain't no way I would have my boys selling drugs or bagging up drugs for me. You know, and you know, those are just some of the things that my father gave me the okay to do. He told me just save up money for a lawyer in case I got popped.
You see some of the dilemma in young fighters. The big shot came from Brown, but then he had to reload.
I still tell co-workers at work about Tony today, you know, even though it's been several years, you know, I still tell me he was like, you know, close to the Pan Am game. He was a professional boxer, you know, so I still bragged on him today.
These actually are competition gloves prepared to training to hit the bag. It's for a better snug fit. 352.
I said, you better than us.
3-2. That's a hell of a thing to have to live with the rest of your life, talking about thinking, I wish I could have, should have, knowing that you had the talent but just didn't have the discipline, the motivation or determination to use the talent that God gave you.
That'll do it for round 2.
I always knew I was a champ, but didn't really do the things outside of the ring that it took to be a champ.
Anyway, we head into round 3.
I knew deep down inside I had a problem, but I didn't want to accept I had a problem because I was just smoking Love Boat, crushing up some crack, spreading it across my PCP, across my Love Boat. So I really didn't look at it that I had a drug problem back then.
Well, there was a lot of people that were disappointed because he was from a small town in eastern North Carolina, and no one there had been to professional in anything or Olympics in anything, and he was something like the first type of sports role model or something in that little area. And once he didn't make it, you know, I guess a lot of people down there didn't know why he didn't make it, but a lot of people were wondering why he didn't make it.
In 1992, when Judge Ken said 8 years, and I stood there because I'm like, I'm Tony Suggs, 8 years, suspend, 7 times served or something. And when he said go with the bailiff, I'm like, hold up, you forgot to suspend some of these years, you know. And it made me realize at that time, you know, when I went down to the bullpen, you know, I called my mother, you know, just thinking that I'm gonna get some of that affection, some of that sympathy, some of that, my baby, that motherly love type thing. You know, she told me that's what you get for living like you was living. You know, and I broke down, started crying. And I immediately knew from that point it was on me.
Pushing Suggs back, may have rocked him there for a moment.
You know, they treated me like I was a star or a celebrity or something, you know. Everybody knew me, I guess the little jail gibber that was going on. That's Tony Suggs, the guy's supposed to be in the Olympics, but he's here. The patio, this is the closest you get to being in the yard.
Good right hook by Suggs. That looked like it may have stunned Brown momentarily.
I was kind of like numb to when they mentioned my name on TV, but then it was, I don't know, it was kind of like I just had to make the best of it. Kind of like an honor that they even recognized my name on national TV, that Tony Suggs should be here, but you know, due to death in the family is what they said. Nobody really knew the real excuse that I was here. I wanted to do my time. I didn't want my time to do me. And I wanted to take advantage of my time being here. And I came here to learn about myself, learn about my addiction. And since I had 8 months, 4 months, or however months, 12 months I had here, you know, I figured I might as well be doing something positive or productive while I'm here.
Here in the third, he came out smoking again.
I graduated from Sofa Living Unit 3 times, you know, and so I failed the other times, but I didn't give up on myself. I kept trying. I kept getting up, brushing myself off, and you know, I didn't give up on myself, you know.
You got some good advice in the corner between rounds, and he's responding to it. First, go down.
Crack really brought me down. You know, I was doing a lot of things that I thought I'd never do. You know, I was stealing from my father and them left and right out the house. And I was a safe thief, you know. What they call a safe thief, I steal from the people that love you the most. So, because, you know, they ain't gonna put you in jail, you know. I ain't have that kind of heart to go out there stealing out of stores and all that, you know, really be robbing people and all that. I have robbed, but, you know, it was just too scary for me. And then, you know, throughout my drug addiction, you know, I knew the Lord. I never really lost sight on God, and I knew He could restore me.
No one could bind him anymore, not even with chains, for he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet.
It's all about understanding addiction, not, saying that a person is weak or, don't have no willpower. Because I remember when I was in drug treatment, I had a counselor that used to say, if you think you got willpower, if willpower gonna bring you through this addiction, take a box of X-Lax and wheel your ass not the shit. What happened when I got released in, what was it, 94, when I got locked up in 92, that I had to change. All the information that I learned while I was in here, I had to take it back out there and remain the same. I couldn't talk that good game in here, and then when I get back out, divert back to the same old Tony that got me here.
Tell them about you used to flood down here? Yeah, I told him.
I had to change, I had to, and they say you gotta change people, places, and things, and that's true. I had to change the places I hung at, the people I hung with, and I had the places I hung, and my old playgrounds, playmates, and playthings. I had to change that. After I stopped using drugs, then my father decided to venture into that same arena I was leaving out of, and I guess, I don't know, I was a pretty big time drug dealer. I got to that point that I'm crazy thinking, once again thinking I'm gonna get back everything I lost while I was out there using drugs, and I got all that, the drugs, a lot of drugs, cars, clothes, all the material things that you think gonna make you something or somebody, but my father started using, and seeing my father make that transition from this strong, tough man, that people feared, and to seeing how sometime he would be at my door, banging at my door, and I have to open my, I wouldn't open my door or whatever, but then in fear of what he's gonna go through out there on the street. Because even at my father's older age, he still thought he was half tough or go for bad. And I didn't want no young boy to, do nothing to him or nothing. And so I used that as an excuse to go ahead and give him what he wanted.
Here in round 3, Suggs has managed to land a little bit more.
I wanted to show people that people can change, because I was a crud ball crackhead. I did what it took to get high. Rob, stole, cheat, whatever. And a lot of times, I thought I wasn't hurting nobody but myself, but I was hurting my family, loved ones, people that cared about me, people that wanted to see me do something with my life, my boxing career. So I was a big disappointment to a lot of people.
So round 3 is done, and it may have made this a closer fight than it was before. We'll be back for the final round. Round 4, the last round, and Anthony Suggs in the red trunks. They had quite a war there in the third, didn't they?
I retired because I knew my days of becoming a world champion was behind me, and I just didn't want to hang around just to be another footstool for a lot of young, hungry boxers to build their career on me. I wasted a lot of my better years out there on the streets after, getting off drugs and starting to sell drugs. When the smoke started clearing, I realized that God had his arms around me the whole time, and it just wasn't God planned for me to go to the Olympics and get all that money and all that. And I think about it, I said I probably would have killed myself if I would have went to the Olympics and got all that money.
But you've been wandering.
and you need a church home.
I live my life apologizing to God, and yeah, I pray that God forgive me for even thinking that or feeling that way. I was just mad at that time. Forgive me, God. I'm sorry, but God had His hand on me the whole way through. God protected me. He had His hedge of protection around me, and what I thought was God plan for me to go to the Olympics and become this great boxing superstar wasn't God plan.
I thought Suggs won the last round. So it's a matter of perspective. And which shots did you think were the power punches?
I participate in the prison ministry. My church is one of the churches that come here to volunteer every third Sunday. And I come back and share my testimony to let them know that I was a victim of this. And that if God changed me, He can change you.
Suggs moving in now, perhaps sensing that he's got to make something happen.
I'm out of the ring still in the fight because of my lifestyle, my way of living today. I'm not throwing blows. I was always known for one-hitter quitters, knocking a lot of people out. A knockout artist, a powerful blow. And one of the things I learned through counseling again was you put the same intensity into your recovery that you put into getting high. I just wanted to be an example, where I came from and, where they could hear my story or know about my story, know about my opportunities and the things I blew, but giving back in a different way that's going to make me a champion way more or greater than if I had won the gold medal in the Olympics.
2011 at the Golden Gloves, I forced myself into getting in shape in about 2 or 3 weeks, and when I got to the tournament, I found myself not in the shape that I thought I was in. So I wound up losing to an opponent that I know I should have beat, basically. So training with my father is intense. He pushes me very hard because he knows what it takes. Like, he was basically one of the best fighters in the amateur ranks coming up through his time. So he really knows what it takes to be at tip-top shape and at the peak of the game. Woke up and I ain't gonna do it.
Wasn't there a time when you changed your mind or you told your dad you didn't want to do it?
It was a national tournament back in 2008 that I was training for. He was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to get me sponsorship and stuff to like fund the trip. And I don't think he was disappointed or hurt more so that I didn't want to go to the tournament. I think he was more disappointed in the fact that he was running around trying to get sponsorship, getting air flights and everything for the show. I don't think it hurt him, that the simple fact that I just didn't want to compete in that tournament. But to this day, I regret not competing in it. It could have been life-changing.
And you sense in Anthony Suggs some desperation here, trying to make something big happen.
I just basically was distracted by what I was doing at the moment, basically. Working and just chilling. I was distracted by that, and I woke up and just decided not to go. My last fight was last year at the Golden Glove, and I lost. And my father didn't work my corner, and what happened as far as
Why didn't he work your corner? What happened?
I don't know why. I didn't know he wasn't gonna work my corner that fight until, like I said, the middle, in between the first and the second round. That's when I realized. When I seen the other guy jump in the ring and start shooting directions at me. And it wasn't the time to think about or ask no questions why you not in here. I just had to go with it.
I just pray that he stay focused, set his own path, but be serious with it. Give himself a fair shot. So when it's all done and said, he can say, I tried. I made it this far. Either I made it as far as I wanted to make it, or I tried to make it as far as I want, but I just didn't make it, versus him having to live with the rest of his life saying, I wish I could have, should have, because that's a hell of a thing to have to live with the rest of your life, talking about thinking, I wish I could have, should have.
This has been a pretty close 4th round, so it's not out of the question that we might be headed for a draw even here.
Knowing that you had the talent, but just didn't have the discipline, the motivation, or determination to use the talent that God gave you.
Got the heart of a champion. Got the heart of a champion.